What's up everybody, Aditya Mahajan here and welcome back to yet another LeetCode video. The problem that we'll be solving today is of easy level and of playlist array. So let's get started. The problem is 88, also called as merge sorted array. Now the problem states that we are given two integer arrays, that is num1 and num2, in non-decreasing order. When we say non-decreasing, the consecutive two element can be equal, but the second element cannot be less than the first element. Now we are also given two integers m and n, which represent the sizes of the two vectors, num1 and num2. Now we need to merge these two vectors or the arrays into a single array which is non-decreasing. Okay, they are also giving us that we do not need to create a, that is, do not need to return anything by the function, but we need to store the result, that is the size of m plus n, after the merging into our initial num1 vector. Okay, and where the first m element denote the number that should be merged and n is the last element that are set to 0 and should be ignored. Num2 has a length of n, so initially num1 would have m plus n elements itself, but the last n elements would be zeros. Okay, so now let us take a look at the examples that they have given. So initial example that they have given is we have two simple vectors, 1 2 3 0 0 0 for first vector with 3 elements, and second vector to be 2 5 and 6 with 3 elements. Now after merging it, as it is non-decreasing, so we can have 1 2 2 3 5 and 6. Okay, and this is our answer vector. Similarly, if we have for the second example, we have num1 vector to be 1 and num2 vector to be empty, so we just need to return 1. And similarly, for our third example, we have num1 vector to be 0, and whereas like it does not have any element, but still we have a 0 in that, which means we do not take into consideration num1, whereas in num2 we have one element to be 1, so after merging them we will just have one element, that is with the 1. Okay, so for solving this problem we can go ahead with two approaches. So the first approach is actually not what is expected, but we can use inbuilt function called as merge. Okay, so this is the solution for that. We are using std function merge, which is technically has three parameters. First is the initial vector, which will have two parameters, starting and end point. Second is for the second vector, starting and end point, and finally in which vector we need to give our final output after merging. Okay, so this is just a simple inbuilt function that we are using. We are creating another vector answer, we are merging the two vectors into another vector, and then finally updating our first initial n1 vector. Okay, so this is the approach you should know, but this is not expected. Okay, so let us look at how we can solve this problem. So other way to solve this is with the help of two pointer approach. Okay, so if we take a look at the example here, what we'll be doing is we'll be taking two pointers, and each pointer would point to start of each vector. So let's say n1 and n2, and we will compare both of them, and whichever will be smaller we will take that element and add it to our what we will create a temporary vector we will be storing in the non-decreasing order. So we'll just compare them, whichever is smaller we'll just put it there. So once we reach end of the smaller vector, we will go ahead and stop the first loop, and in the second loop what we'll do, whatever vector is remaining, we'll just append that remaining list into that. Okay, and that is the solution for the two pointer approach. So let us look at the code for it. Okay, so this is the code. So technically what we are doing is we are creating a temporary answer vector, and we are having two pointers, n1 for nums1 vector and n2 for nums2 vector, and initially we have initialized them with 0, which would be the starting of the index. Now what we are doing is we are taking two vectors. Now if you take the case that both the vectors are of same size as in our example 1, then in that case only initial check, that is every time we are doing it till the end of both of the reach end at simultaneously is simpler. But if the sizes of two vectors are different, then only checking till both of them reaches end would not work. Okay, so that is what we are doing. So we are taking till first smaller vector reaches the end. So that is what we are doing. So we are checking, we are iterating while the first pointer is less than the first vector size and second pointer is less than second vector size. Okay, so while that condition is satisfied, what we are doing is we are checking if that pointer's element in the num1 is less than second pointer's element of vector 2. If first element from first vector is smaller, we are just pushing that element into the answer and incrementing that pointer. Whereas if second element is smaller, we are pushing the second element and then incrementing n2. Now, by the end of this while loop, what will happen is the smaller vector would get consumed, and we will be left with the larger vector, and we need to just append the remaining elements which are present there. Okay, so to check which element is which vector is larger, we'll just check at the iterators n1 and n2 if n1 is equal to m. So if we are if the first vector is smaller, what would happen is the first pointer would be till the end of the element of the first vector. So that is what we are checking. If the first vector is smaller, in that case this condition would be satisfied, and we will be running through the loop for the remaining vectors, that is from the n2 pointer, which would be for the second vector, n2 to till the end of the elements for that vector, and we'll be pushing back all the elements which are present in there. Otherwise, if second vector is smaller, in that case we'll be pushing back for the first vector. And finally, by the end of this this code snippet, what we'll be having is we will have our answer into our answer vector that we created. But the question that is asked is we do not need to return anything. We need to update the nums one. So that is why we are iterating through that nums vector, the answer vector, and updating it into the nums. So that's the solution. Hope you liked it, and if you did not understand anything, let me know in the comment section below. I'll try to respond as fast as possible. So that's all for this video. Hope you liked it. If you liked it, hit the thumbs up button. If you want more such LeetCode content, subscribe to the channel. And that's all. I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care and bye.